Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Warm welcome on this rather chilly Wednesday afternoon from myself, Nafeesa Dangor, and the team. Wishing you a splendid afternoon. But do join us with a nice hot cup of coffee because we're really going to entice you to doing different things today. On the Nafeesa Dangor show, we're going to be talking to Sister Rukshana Modan, and she's going to be discussing the subject, You Are Enough. And then from there, we're going to remind you that you, of course, are enough and not more than that. You just have to be happy with who you are and what you can do with yourself. I think a lot of the times what happens is we don't realize our potentials and our talents until somebody helps us realize that. Well, we're going to be chatting with Penny Appeal South Africa about the Yemen and Kurbani projects. We're also going to be giving you tips and tricks on making a good lamb curry dish and, of course, boosting your immune system with a smoothie through this very difficult COVID-19 period time. And finally, we're going to be debunking some myths, including that buying in bulk is not always better. And of course, brown eggs aren't always healthier than white ones. So it is going to be a very interesting afternoon. So do stay with us. Do get that cup of coffee. Make yourself comfortable. And of course, be inspired with the Nafeesa Dangor show. And first on our list, of course, is our transformational mindset coach, always enticing us to look at the better in ourselves. And today she's going to be talking to us about You Are Enough. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah once again for joining me on this show, Sister Rukshana Modan.
Walaikum assalam, Nafeesa. It is so amazing to be with you on this Wednesday. As I say, I always look forward to it. Your laughter, your smile, it just brightens my day. So jazakallah for that. And yes, let's get inspired. Let's change mindsets. And together we can grow and be our better selves. So I'm sure you question again why the topic, are you enough? You are enough. Why you're not going to be enough. And it comes about lots of our mothers. I've had few dads write in, and the things that they're asking is, how do you know if you are enough? How do you know if you're not making somebody feel enough? And those are very relevant questions that we as human beings should ask ourselves. Am I making Nafeesa feel important? Am I making her see her talents? Or am I diminishing her as a woman, as a mother, as a daughter, as a friend? And I think those are questions we internalize for ourselves. Firstly, am I breaking somebody down by maybe not validating them or not reminding them of their worth and their values and all the goodness within themselves? But the other part is, am I allowing somebody else as well to diminish me, to make me feel less? And most of the times it comes from shame. When we're growing up, we were taught from a young age to be shamed for our shape of our body, shamed for our lack of slouchiness, we don't sit straight up, or shame for we're not very good in the kitchen. So we already start living with the shame. People name and shame us, call us out in families, say, oh, you know, Rukshana can't make a nice cup of tea, let Maryam make the tea. Or, you know what, Nafeesa's very good at baking, but she's not good at cooking. So that's a name and shame. You know, and I think we need to stop doing those things, comparing daughters, comparing sons. You know, one of my important stuff that I've learned this past 3 weeks, because I've already been upgrading a lot of my training, just purely for myself, for my own self-fulfillment, my enlightenment journey, my transformational journey. But it also came to fore how many people are suffering with this. And it comes from a lot of the girls and boys in our society. We are moms, we are daughters, we are children, we are grandparents, and we are guilty of it. And we need to start changing the mindset in our families, within our perimeters of who is in our life. Because what we normally say is, it's okay, let your daughter go and wash the dishes, but it's okay, your son doesn't need to. It's more vital today, in today's time, that you balance the equality out, because today your sons are needing to go to university. Who's going to wash the dishes for them? Who's going to help them wash their clothing? You are actually doing your son a disservice by giving him that privilege to say, he's a boy, he doesn't need to cook. He needs to cook. One day, if he's got a wife and a family, and his wife is not feeling well, or he needs to take a turn to cook, what is he going to do? He's going to complain that his wife is not good enough for him, because why? It's been put in his mindset that the woman, no matter what's going to happen, she's going to have to cook for you. And what about those odd days if she's not feeling well? What about the odd days where she's got an extra burden to carry for that day? Her load is harder. So our times and trends have changed. And I think as moms, we need to be cognizant of that to our sons. We need to be very careful. And I say this always because every of our listeners, they comment about my home. My Arif and my Yusuf, I taught them how to cook at a very young age. Yusuf started cooking his first meal at the age of 10, my Arif at the age of 9. And I always wanted them to be participating, to be contributing. And that's their love. That's part of them validating us as a family. So it wasn't that I put them into girl mode. The best chefs in the world are men. My sons were taught responsibility from a very young age, how to clean up behind themselves, their rooms, how to do their own washing. And Shukr, today, my eldest boy is living by himself and he's in China. I mean, he says it to me, and I really have those proud mommy moments when he says, Mom, I really feel good about all the lessons you taught me. I never thought one day it would carry me forward, but my flat is clean. I eat every day a healthy meal because I'm cooking for myself. I have clean clothing, where I've got some boys saying they never change socks for 4 to 5 days. And I mean, a lot of the mums out there will relate to that, because it's difficult. It is difficult. A lot of girls as well. I mean, I have a lot of my clients call me and they say, Rukshana, can you help me? Can you help me make my daughter strong enough to go to university? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that we have to make her stronger? Did you not inculcate these lessons in her? Did you not teach her about these things? And they were like, no, we were remiss in it. And yes, we all are guilty of it. So I think from now, the mindset, what I'm saying is, grannies, stop saying that my ladli beta, only the boy must get something. Stop saying only that the son is first. Start opening up the doorways to say, you never know what the taqdeer is of your daughter, daughter-in-law, granddaughter, where she's going to end up. Is she going to take care of herself? Is she going to have to fend for herself? So if you feel you're not enough, you will never suffice. You will always be going to people pleasers. You will always be begging for validation. And people in society, it's a human nature. They will hurt you. They will break you down. But if you feel you are worthy, when you recognize these are my uniqueness, this is my speciality of who I am. These are my gifts that I have been blessed with by Allah. Then you don't compare yourself with. The worst thing today, and I mean, I've been seeing the trends and I've been following it because I want to understand what parents are talking about. And I went on to TikTok, and the pressure, a lot of people say TikTok is supposed to be a friendly, happy-go-lucky kind of app, but it's a lot of pressure to learn how to do those moves, to learn how to mimic, to learn how to, so you are actually not being true to yourself. And that is a danger of, because it's so easy to mimic somebody else's voice. It's so easy to talk with somebody else's voice. It's so easy to dance or sing to somebody else's song. What about your originality? Where's your authenticity?
Exactly.
Where's
That's
your
what I was
trueness
going
to
to
who
say.
you are?
Each one of us are so unique, and I think it's about having to understand that, to be able to tap into your uniqueness and your own talents and your own strengths, and find out who you really are, and work on that, and bring out the best in that, as opposed to trying to, like you say, wanting to be somebody else's, and try and be the way someone else is, when in fact you can actually just be yourself and you can stand out from the rest that way.
Yeah, I think the way we're going to start doing this one is start asking yourself the questions. Are you guilty of being a namer and a shamer? And then we try and stop those bad habits. Because it's the same way we always tell ourselves that, no, I'm not a gossiper. Yes, of course, but I'm saying it to Nafeesa's face. Nafeesa, you're not a good baker. Nafeesa, listen, you're not a good baker. I'm not gossiping. I'm telling you. I shamed you. I named you. I've labeled you. And that's not, don't justify giving that negative name to Nafeesa. You understand? So what we need to stop doing, with a lot of us are guilty, and they say, no, but I'm not gossiping. Nafeesa, no, she's not a good baker. No, stop saying that. Why should you name it? Why should you shame it? Why should you not say that, oh, Nafeesa, you remember you tried to bake those coconut biscuits? Remember we battled to eat it, but it was actually tasty because burnt cookies actually taste nice. So put the positive. So Nafeesa will say, okay, but they did like it. It was just a little bit burnt. Maybe I tried a different way. So what you're doing is you're not earning the title, because what would actually happen is you will always never feel good enough to bake. You will never, because people keep naming and shaming you. So we need to be cognizant. Are we doing that? Because what we look at it is, I'm not gossiping. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just making her see her faults. No, I would rather say, Nafeesa, I've got 2 easy biscuit recipes. And I don't think you're actually a person that I can talk to on the phone to give you the recipe. I'm sending you a video because I think you're visual. You look at it and you're going to get it. So different people learn in different ways. So stop shaming people, stop naming people, stop telling people that they're not good enough. The same way with the shapes. I mean, those are things becoming very, very adamant, and a danger situation in our schools as well. Girls are being called fat. They're being called big boned. They're being called ugly. The new word I heard was fugly. I never heard of fugly, but now there's a new word, fugly. And they are shaming these women with these names. So what happens is it puts peer pressure on them. They want to go on a diet immediately. They're damaging their health. They don't feel good enough. So they start hiding themselves behind bulky clothing. They want to cover themselves because why? They don't feel worthy enough. And then what do? They need makeup. So they have to get makeup, a certain name of makeup. I mean, the best way. And I mean, I looked at it, I couldn't understand it. The Kylie Jenner lipstick. I mean, a lot of the youth are like, oh my God, she was so plain. She's put this lipstick on and look at what it did to her. She's had so much of plastic surgery to make the transition. But people don't say that. And what happens is we need to expose it to our daughters to say, listen, don't put plastic surgery on that this is going to make you feel good, because if it's inside here, you don't feel good. You will keep on cutting, keep on doing, keep on adding, because inside you don't feel good. But if you feel inside that you're good enough with the scars, I have a lady, she's met up in an accident, her entire face has scars. But if you see her confidence, if you see how much she loves herself, then you understand that this woman is truly, truly knowing her worth and that she knows she's enough. With the scars doesn't make who she is. Our past doesn't make who we are. Yes, maybe you were not the best baker, but today you are contributing to society. Absolutely. And the thing that we are all guilty. And I mean, you know, I've read what parents are saying. Dads are reaching out to us and saying, listen, I have a daughter and I know my daughter's on a permanent diet. How do I help her? And I said, validate them. It's your duty as a dad to say, my worth, you look so beautiful today. You are amazing. You look lovely in that color, because that's the validation she seeks. When her father instills those beautiful, powerful words within her, she knows that she's armored. No matter who tells her she's fat, no matter what they tell her she's not good enough. You know what? My dad said I'm good enough. That's enough. So from home, we need to armor our children, our sons, to say, you don't need, I'm not saying don't get married. What I'm saying is you don't need to say that a woman has to take care of me, otherwise I'm going to lay down and die. No. Today, our children are first studying before they get married. Times are changing. Trends are changing. So make your sons independent. Make your daughters worthy and valuable so that they understand they are enough. They are enough. And when somebody's making you not feel worthy, then start loving yourself more, and reach out to people when you're feeling down. I've had lots of people reach out to me and say, I'm trying to be positive, Rukshana. In this time, so much is impacting me. And I must say, Shukr, within an hour, 2 hours of speaking to them, their entire life changes, because they then realize, oh my word, I have so much going for me. You just need somebody to talk to sometimes. So when you're feeling you're not enough, when you feel you're not worthy, reach out to somebody. Get that person that is actually supposed to be your mentor, somebody that's actually going to grow you, somebody that's seeing your worth, because you do get spiteful people, whether you like it or not. I mean, I've seen so much about the Miss South Africa. It's sad when women starts degrading women, when women starts competing against women, and men are doing the same thing. I mean, it's love that makes this world go around. It's love that is conquering all the problems of this world. So let's just stop the naming. Let's stop the meanness. You know, you are
couldn't
enough.
have said that better. It is all about love, and it's about kindness,
and you are a lovable person.
Thank you so much. And we'd like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. As usual, I've always waited for this segment and you've inspired us. And I think you've also taught me to look at myself and say, I am enough. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed the segment, and I'm sure our listeners have been inspired in many directions, but we seem to have run out of time as usual. And we look forward to chatting to you next week again. Take care, Rukshana.
Jazakallah so much for having me on your show. Nafeesa, be warm, be safe. I love you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We love you too. And that was Sister Rukshana Modan, definitely inspiring us to see, of course, the best in ourselves and tap into our talents, and of course recognize the fact that we are enough, as she said. We're going to go for a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be back with Penny Appeal SA.